Yo, what's good, y'all? It is your boy Storm Sage coming to you with Druid update information. I will be doing the PTR live tomorrow night. We'll be jumping on the PTR. Druids, you already know, unite. But we're gonna get right and we're gonna jump right into this. This is just some notes to keep track of for Diablo 4. That's right, Diablo 4 is still a game. I still will be covering Druid for it. So we're just gonna go through some of this information on this list. And in the comment section below, let me know, are you guys feeling these changes? Okay, I know they said this is the season of the wolf. We'll see if what they say is true, because I've tried multiple wolf builds every season and they just lack some umph. So let's see what they've done in the changes. So one of the first ones here is the Druid Maleficent Crescent unique amulet is being added to the game. Let's look at these stats right here. Gives up to 10% willpower, adds critical strike damage, werewolf specific, movement speed while shapeshift into the werewolf, and gives you some feral amplitude, which does increase damage while healthy. And then I think it does, increases also movement speed, and you can stack them. I think it goes up to, it's an add, so maybe up to 12% now. So maybe up to 24 to 28% is going to be the updated amount if you can get a full stack of this. With this amulet. And then the power on it is the value of your Lupin ferocity. Critical strike damage is increased to 1 to 150% when consecutively critical striking. So one of the bigger issues with Lupin ferocity when I've used it is that in the builds that I want to use it, you're either already critting, okay, or the damage just doesn't feel impactful enough. Now, based on a lot of these changes you're gonna see as we go through it, you're gonna want to Mad Wolf's Glee. You're gonna want to pair this amulet with Mad Wolf's Glee, and then also Tempest Roar for any builds that you're going to be running that aren't inherent werewolf build. So what I mean by that is that this is probably going to be the #1 build for Lightning Storm now, is utilizing Tempest Roar, Mad Wolf's Glee, Lupin Ferocity, and then doing this every third werewolf skill, which would be any lightning skill that you run with that helmet on will do all of this damage. This could work in other lightning. I'm trying to think of any other lightning effect or builds. The only one I can think of is with the Wolves Companion, if you just want to spec into wolves. But the way that they have it set up, you can't really do both. You got to choose one, and you can't intermingle the two, or there won't be enough power for tier 4 gameplay. So we'll see if this amulet is nice. Druid was missing an amulet slot that was worth anything, so this is good. Aspect of Wolf's Reign. This one's interesting. It's kind of cool. This is one they showed on the video that they ran. Casting Hurricane also spawns a smaller hurricane on your wolves for 8 seconds. These hurricanes deal 5 to 15% of hurricanes damage for each active wolf. The only issue with this is that right now the damage that we're proccing with Hurricane is snapshots, right? So snapshots are what you're utilizing. I don't really like that playstyle. I'm okay with that playstyle, but it's the fact that that's how we can gauge and get damage higher is to snapshot and to pretty much keep Hurricane up 100% of the time. This will of course scale on each wolf as well. So I'm interested to see. We'll try to run a Hurricane build like this with the wolves. This would be mixing builds up. So I'm interested to see if we will be in werewolf form, if that will work, or if this is more of a just a pure, companion build that we're running on this. Werewolf Finesse, new weapon tempering recipe, does give you some percentage poison damage, werewolf attack speed, and werewolf critical chance. So we get another extra werewolf options. Poison damage, we'll see. We'll try to run a poison damage in PTR. We'll try to get that pushed to see if they've done anything with the numbers. The way that poison kind of works in Diablo 4 is a little weird. The damage doesn't really pick up as much as we would like to, but we'll see. We'll test it out. Some of these, I will say, some of these changes do look pretty good. The issue, okay, I'll talk real quick about my issues with Druid is that it needs an extra aspect slot. And I didn't see any updates or changes to the game where aspect slots were going to be given. And so I'm worried that they're going to add all this cool stuff in the game, all the stuff that could add build diversity, and there's going to be zero way to utilize it in in-game builds, because in in-game builds everyone has Ubers, right? Uber uniques, and everyone's rocking multiple Uber uniques on their body, and so you can't really get or utilize some of these great combinations that they have in the game, because most people are going to use the strongest items available to them. And because Uber uniques are relatively available at the end game, at the very end game, people are just going to run the build that gives them the most Uber uniques, and they can use the less aspects. And most of the power, most of the build craft in this game in general, but specifically with Druid, is the aspects. There are some interesting aspects, and once we go through my Druid series, we'll go through all of them. There is some interesting aspects that could add some really cool build diversity and stuff to it, and there's no reason to utilize it, or you can't fit it into your build because of how pigeonholed certain aspects can only put on certain items. And so you're juggling all these great, weapons and armor, but you're gonna always gravitate towards the Uber unique in most cases because it just does more damage. I love Tempest Roar, but when you pigeonhole Druids into running Tempest Roar on pretty much any build that they want to go, and then you add that new unique that gives you just a flat 60% damage on top of everything, multiplicative, by the way, it's hard to compete. So now I can't run a build with Tempest Roar. I can't run my Lightning Storm builds that I love to do every season, because guess what? It's useless comparative to some of the end game builds, and you need it. Tier 4 rips your balls off, man. So let's go ahead and go into some updated skills. Hurricane can now be cast while moving. Raging Shred. Previous Shred's third combo attack is larger and applies an additional 143% poisoning damage over 5 seconds. Now, Shred's third combo attack is larger, applies an additional 143% poisoning damage, and causes enemies to take 30% increased poisoning damage. So this is to buff some poisoning damage builds. We'll see. We'll check it out. Like they had, do I see any? I don't think I saw any changes to. Yeah, we'll see. I'm not hopeful on these poison changes. Bloodhound also generates 20 spirit. Bloodhound, you deal 20%. I like this change. This 20%, 25% multiplicative, multi. We're just gonna do multi. You deal 25% multi increased damage until you shapeshift out of werewolf form. So this just means that you're gonna want to run Bloodhound only in werewolf builds. But this part right here in the shapeshift builds, means that you're probably gonna want to end in werewolf build anytime you're shapeshifting, and then do whatever you're gonna do for damage. This is gonna be your best, but they are really hammering home werewolf this time. Grizzly Rage damage bonus 60% multiplicative is. I tried to look into like making a Grizzly Rage build where you keep going with Grizzly Rage, and you can do it in the sense of the Bloodhound, but they need to change the aspect. So if I don't see an aspect change, because there's an aspect, it's kind of cool, where you can Grizzly Rage, but it turns you into a werewolf, like a grizzly werewolf, or I forget what the exact wording is. You can never fit that aspect anywhere. And anything to do with Grizzly Rage, you need like 5 aspect slots. Can't use barely any. There's like 4 aspects with Grizzly Rage that are necessary in order to make that ultimate worth it. And so that's what I'm talking about. So I mean, this 10% is not, I didn't mean to snapshot. 10% is not really doing too much for me. Lacerate, I did mess around with a little Lacerate build. Lacerate does not do enough damage, but they have added some ultimate nodes and stuff in our in-game trees and stuff like that in order to increase. And I think with the skill bonuses, there's a lot more availability for ultimates. I think they get like a bonus now at rank 5. Yeah, we're gonna go over that right here. Did they go over the Grizzly Rage bonus? They didn't. I don't see a rank 5 Grizzly Rage bonus. Let me see. Nope. Okay, we'll see it. We'll see it in game. I'm sure they have it. Rank 5 lacerate damage increased by they increased the base for lacerate, and now lacerate damage increased by 40% of your critical strike damage bonus. That's good. You can druids can get really high critical strike damage bonuses throughout their their skill trees in games. So we're gonna try ultimate lacerate build. Interested to see if that's viable. To me, viable is anything past tier 3. So if we can run a lacerate build tier 3, I find that viable. Now in game tier 4, we'll see. I doubt it, but we'll go. Cataclysm, of course. My go-to builds are lightning builds. Casting Cataclysm slows surrounding enemy at 70%. So what that just means is that Cataclysm is you're going to want to find some way of adding damage with slow. There's some aspects that I believe if enemies are slow, they take, increased damage from you, or increases the potential for more damage to be done. So we'll see how that works with some of the keys and nodes on our tree. Petrify resets all your non-ultimate skill cooldowns. This is actually really cool. A lot of people a lot of us use Petrify anyway, especially in game. It's just it comes back pretty quick. And there's a lot of ways to reduce ultimate skill cooldown. But the issue with this is that everyone's just gonna unless if lacerate really brings home the damage, everyone's just gonna run Petrify. Petrify was already amazing, just for in-game builds, tier 4, CC if you need it, and it adds extra damage to your critical strike damage anyway. So we'll have to really see if lacerate can compete, and if there's any aspects that can compete with slow, with slow. So we'll have to see. And finally, skill tree upgrades which directly dealt damage will now scale up their damage with increased skill ranks of the base skill. So Fierce Claw, okay, all right, so 20% poisoning damage over 6 seconds. I should increase higher. Innate Earthen Bulwark. No one's gonna this Bulwark. Those paths need a rework. Raging Shred. Shred's third combo attack is larger and implies okay. Let's look at these passives now. Lupin Ferocity. Every third werewolf skill hit critically strikes and deals 100% increased damage. Doubled. Whoa. Doubled to 200% against injured enemies. Now every third werewolf hero strike. Okay, so basically this just increases critical strike damage for Lupin. Okay. It just increases your critical strikes multi. It's okay. I think they, the doubled. I actually liked the direction, but there's not enough injured enemy situations where, like most things in the game, if an enemy is injured, they die anyway. So this is injured enemies is such a in-game, pinnacle type thing, and it just doesn't hit because everything kind of just dies anyway with your, with whatever builds and things you've built. Toxic Claws. Critical strikes with werewolf skills deal 12% of their base damage as poisoning. This is boo-boo. Whatever this was, Toxic Claws, no one ever used it. Now, critical strikes with Shred and Lacerate deal an additional 16% of their base damage as poisoning damage over 4 seconds. Okay. I guess this just means that when you Shred or Lacerate, you will automatically poison. So I guess that's cool. It just means that it's the same difference. But now it's just making it that you can't get the poison for other builds by just throwing on Tempest Roar, right? You can throw Tempest Roar on all you want to, but you're not going to get that additional poison without running Shred or Lacerate on your bar. It kind of takes away some power from some other builds that utilize that. Maybe that's on purpose, but it's taking away power from the other builds that utilized this to induce poison so that they can get the critical strike bonuses on the other side of the tree. So we'll see. Previous, when shapeshifting, werebear grants 3% damage reduction and werewolf grants 2% movement speed, which again, this right here is dumb. It should be grants 2% damage or whatever. It should be it should match this, and it should be damage or critical strike damage or whatever. Like, it's just one of those stupid decisions. Both bonuses persist as long as you're in either animal form, and doubled while both are active, and they are lost once you're in human form. Now, when shapeshifting, werebear grants 3%, it's 3% move speed, both bonuses. They are lost. I don't understand it. What's the difference? Both bonuses persist as long as you're in. Oh, they're not doubled anymore? Okay. Yeah, no doubling. Okay, that's whatever. I just okay. Charge atmosphere. I love so the power, the fantasy of the lightning, kind of like the lightning druid sage feel is there. It's just not strong. Charge atmosphere is a really fun node for early game, just when you're going through the storyline and stuff, but it really falls off late game. There's not really a lot of build paths for it. So let's see. Previously, every 14 seconds, flame hits the number and did it for your lightning bolts deal 10% increased damage. Okay, so this is like this is good. So the reason why this is good is that it creates, it's way better as far as how it incorporates into these lightning builds. Before, it was just a random lightning bolt. It was very hard to scale it. You rarely went into lightning bolt scaling anyway for these builds, but now if it hits something, and again, that 14 seconds when you put points in, it will be significantly lower, and it does it like every 2 to 3 seconds. Like it's pretty quick how it goes. But if it hits it, then all your other lightning bolts affixes and things and effects will add 10%. It's nice. It's nice. It's not necessary, but it's nice. Spirit bones. Spirit offerings are locked. Reduced from 100 to 60 per spirit animal. Deer prickle skin, 480 thorns. Okay, sure. There is a bear thorns build out there. Whether it's good or not is is the question, but you can run a bear thorns build, but they haven't gone too far with that yet. Deer, gift of the stag, gain 40 maximum spirit. This was always boo boo. Gain 40 maximum spirit, you gain 5 spirit. This is a big change. So one of the biggest issues with spirit generation on the druid is that you can only get it, I think, on certain things, like I think boots, maybe helmet. I think it's maybe helmet, boots, and maybe amulet. But it was tough because if you wanted to gain spirit, you would have to utilize a regular legendary armor piece. Excuse me. And if you're using Uber uniques, you're most time using uniques or Ubers. That's it. That's most of the builds nowadays. One of the main issues with the game. But there was no room to add that to anything, and so you couldn't really create builds with generation of spirit. This gives you a baseline, so you can have 5 spirit every second. You don't need it now on armor. You don't need to utilize it as an affix on any of your armors. That's a great change. I like that. That's big for someone who uses other builds that involve spirit. I like utilizing mana or spirit in this case. Okay, critical strike chance. Okay, you get for the eagle scythe. You get hallelujah. Blessed be his name. Look at this. I was just talking about this, and 15% increased critical strike chance. And where's the lucky hit chance on this board? It's way too long to have another year. It took almost a year and a couple months to add lucky hit chance. Do you know how important lucky hit chance is to the druid? There's a lot of lucky hit chance that are involved with the druid. Most of the nodes on their Their spirit boons are procced off a lucky hit. How can you not have lucky hit as an additive, and everything on your spirit boons is like lucky hit procced? So the issue with lucky hit 2 is that the way to get more lucky hit, there's one in the in-game tree that you get, and it's only for earth skills. It's like earth and lucky hit plus, I think 15%, 20%, something. But there just a general lucky hit, because again, if you're running lightning storms correctly, lucky hit's very important in order to proc things, CCs, and do all the damage. Okay. Energize. Lucky hit. Daily damage has a 50% to restore 30 spirit. Any damage has a 50% chance to fully restore your spirit. These are crazy. These spirit boons are crazy. That's awesome. That's really good. You can really kind of run builds now and just kind of just go off of lucky, because 30 was nothing. You would need this to proc a couple times and do things that would enhance the lucky hit chance, like storm, like, you know, your storm skills would hit so much that, you know, it's like, I think it branches off into like 6. So, you know, you have a higher chance of getting that stuff. But these are really good. These are really good changes to spirit boons, and they were necessary. The biggest one I think is this one right here, because it's multiplicative too. You just double eagle now, because it looks like they didn't change the critical strike damage portion of eagle, so we're double eagling it. Get your eagle on, girl. They can just go ahead and take the health one off, and what was the other one? Attack speed? Maybe attack speed, depending. It depends on what the build is, but 15% multi lucky hit is big. All right, snake, obsidian slam. That's the earth power overpower, and okay, so now they did instead of 10th, it's every 6th attack. That's huge. Huge. You know what this is huge for? This is huge for machine gun. What's the new, oh man, I can't think of the name of the new earth skill they added. I can't think of the name of it, but there's a build there, and this will just add power. This will add power to that build. I think this is the biggest thing, is the spirit boons. I will make a video on these spirit boon changes. Don't you worry, fellow druids. And let's see. Let's look at one of my favorite ones that no one uses, is overload. Dealing lightning damage. Yeah, I know, dealing 100%. Now, dealing storm damage also applies an additional, ooh, what's this? Dealing storm damage also applies an additional 20% poison damage over 5 seconds. Ooh. Lucky hit portion. Dealing poison damage is up to a 1% chance to summon a lightning bolt on the target, dealing 120% damage. Okay, interesting. This up to a 1% chance is weird, but we were just talking about this with this snake overload. This is how you can apply your poisoning damage in order to get your for your in-game nodes, to get your extra damages for having, you know, I think it's I'm trying to think off from the top of my head. I've played D4 in a while, y'all, so please excuse me, but 3 or more enemies around you cause you to, I think it's 45% extra damage multi, and this is how you do it on the storm builds. You click this node. You won't be able to get your ultimate as fast, because you won't be able to choose that node unless if you do overload in that other node at the same time, but lucky hit chance is way more important. We're running this every single time. Perfect. It's multiplicative too. If this is correct, multiplicative lucky hit chance is crazy. All right, legendary aspects. Let's see. This is, so we need to be able to access more aspects, or they need to consolidate them, combine them, and have less options, but consolidate them into having more effects per aspect. That's my honest opinion. That would make the game 3 times more fun, but we'll see. Aspect of the blurred beast. While dashing, shriek. Shred seeks out nearby poisoned and deals increased damage. That one was good always. Okay, this one, shred, regardless of whether they're poisoned or not, just does more damage. So if you're running shred, you gotta run aspect of the blurred beast. Okay. Shred's first edge lands up to 4 additional strikes based on distance traveled. They showed this one off. It looked pretty cool. Kind of looked like a flash step Kind of look like a flash step, and then into like a multi-hit type deal. It was nice. It was cool. Aspect of the unsatiated. Previous, after killing an enemy with shred, you gain 20 spirit. Oh yeah, this was the so this one was interesting because you can run this on a few different weapon types. No, this is gonna be, I think it's on ring and amulet. So if you're running a new amulet, and then you want to run aspect of the unsatiated, and you got to run aspect of the blurred beast. There you go. 2 things now. Okay, 2 aspects you got to run. All right, you got to run these. And so we're looking like a ring slot, and we're looking at a like an arm slot, maybe maybe an arm slot. Yeah, so arm slot, amulet will be the new one, and then this will be on one of the rings. Critical strike an enemy with shred, you gain 15 spirit, while at 100 spirit, werewolf skills deal up to 40% increased damage till you go below 30 spirit. And there's ways of keeping that spirit up with all the new modes. So I think shred's gonna be pretty nasty. I think we're gonna have to, one of the first builds we're gonna have to run is this shred build that they're obviously echoing. So we will, that's what we'll run first, and then I'll try my storm build out on the PTR. Virulent aspect, change from utility to offensive. Okay, when rabies infect, okay, yeah, I remember this. Affects the enemy, reduces cooldown by up to pretty much up to a second, up to 3 seconds, tripled when affecting elite enemies. You deal increased damage affected by rabies. Interesting. Okay, so this is way better. This is way better. I don't understand this right here though. This might be a typo. But this is better. All these are better. These are really good changes. They should have made like 6-7 months ago, but these are good changes. This right here, increased damage to enemies affected by rabies, just means that you can run rabies on your bar now as a pure werewolf druid, and it actually does something. And you're going to be wanting to really, basically, you run this bloodhound, shred, lacerate, and some type of defensive move, maybe hurricane for the 20% DR. Yeah. Oh, rune workers. Rune workers is one of my favorite aspects. Let's see what they changed. Previously, critical storms that you catch around you. Yeah, it was a really cool effect, but really wasn't that strong. Cause lightning bolts for your close enemies for 3 seconds, each dealing lightning damage. Your lightning bolt damage increases offense for every 100 willpower you have. Okay, so it's just, they add scaling to it. So this, you can actually be like a lightning rod. The thing about this build right here is, again, it's going to take up a ring slot. So is this going to be able to scale as strong as, say, Count Dooku? I always call him called Dooku, but I forget the names of the man, but the ring where it brings them in, and it's now you have multiple, you have a ring aspect that scales with willpower, as well do you have a unique that scales with willpower, and you can combo and see which one works better with the build. Because necessarily the lightning builds I run, you really don't want the enemies that close to you, all like that, and so this gives you the ability to kind of not have to bring people inside, bring to you. Tempest Roar, change flat damage willpower, fixed to willpower percentage. This is a good change. Why was flat damage willpower? I don't know. Seeing as this is such a key thing, and we need it to scale as high as some of these, close to, doesn't have to be exactly uber unique level, right? Because that's just doesn't make any sense. But we need it to scale pretty close to it. Maximum resource needs to go, by the way, on this Tempest Roar. Why are we adding maximum resource? So they needed to take maximum resource off. Willpower percentage is perfect, and maximum resource needed to be taken off. No one's stacking maximum resource on druids. It's a death stat. There has to be a reason to There's a couple now with the 100%. If you have this amount of spirit while you cast something, it's this high. But lightning resistance 2 is kind of like whatever. It's decent though, because at the end game T4, if you're running Mad Wolf's Glee, which is going to be kind of indicative of most of these builds, Mad Wolf's Glee is going to be the best chess piece to run for most of these wolf builds now. You're not going to be able to run. You're not going to be run the other chess, the uber chess pieces. Monolic Ring. While Cataclysm active, you game limiters. Yeah, I remember that. Let's see if they made it less specific. While Cataclysm is active, you gain unlimited spirit and you deal up to 100% increased damage. Cataclysm receives your lightning bolt benefits. Okay. So basically what they're doing is we're gonna PTR, we're gonna test this out. We're going to scale lightning bolt damage. Okay, it's something they added recently as a scalar kind of specific wording. They've always had lightning bolts, but lightning storm and lightning bolt are two different damage buckets. Okay, I was trying to make builds and I thought that if I increased lightning bolt damage, that the lightning storm bolts would also scale, but it's a different scaling multiplier, the lightning bolts, than the lightning storm main attack. So we'll have to see if we scale that up, if that's going to change anything. Shape shifting finesse. Removed werewolf attack speed, removed werewolf critical chance, added damage while fortified. Okay, so they want fortification to be your main. Yeah, these were stupid. They want fortification. They want you guys to figure out extra DRs based on fortification. Cool. All right, let's look at the Paragon. Here we go. Heightened Malice. While there are 3 or more poison enemies nearby, you deal. Yep, that's the one I was talking about. I got the number right. While a poison enemy is nearby, you deal 35% increased damage plus an additional 5% for each additional poison enemy up to 4. Ooh, so they really scaling this up. So this right here. This snake overload is very important for damage now. For your damage scaling on your electricity builds. Because you only can take, I think, about four of these Paragon nodes, the main Paragon nodes. You can only take about 4, I believe. So Heightened Malice, you got 35, and then you can scale that up based on the amount of enemies near you. It's going to be 35 base though, so it is a direct. It's all around. Actually, it's all around buff. This means that Heightened Malice means something in boss battles. So because it doesn't have a prerequisite, so that's really good. So that's a huge buff for druids. That's in-game bossing. That's a big bossing boon right there, because that adds an extra 20, so you can get that up to 55% now. That's a really good change. Survival instincts. Previous, while in weapon, you deal 1% increased damage up to 60% for every 1% difference in current life percent between you and the enemy. This was busted, by the way. That's why everybody was going bear builds and building bears, because you can scale your life so hard. And there's some nodes on the bears specific paragons that are just completely busted. A lot of the damage while crowd control nodes, they're super high comparative to the werewolf build. So I'm interested to see once we get into the PTR if they fix that, or if it's still an issue that we're missing out on damage. We're just missing out on a bunch of crowd control damage, because you crowd control while you're a werewolf, so it's weird. While in werewolf form, you deal 30% multi increased damage or 45% multi when you're at full life. Okay, so you fortification, you have 1% multi increased overpowered damage up to 25% multi for every 1% difference in current life percent, fortified life percent between you and the enemy. Okay, so it just, instead of just straight life, I think they're trying to get away with the life stacking. You still want to, life stacking with overpower is obviously still a thing, but it's based off of fortified life now. So the scaling is going to be based on your fortify. So you kind of have to manage 2 things there. Okay, we'll see. I think this is a net positive, I believe, but it's just more specific. They really want Druid, based on some of these changes, to be the fortified class. You need to, in order to fight T4s, you need to figure out how to fortify yourself for your life and do it often. Ancestral guidance, which again, where's the item? Did I miss it? I missed it, didn't I? It's right this closer. Here we go. Monogamy. Gain unlimited spirit. Yeah, you still gain unlimited spirit. So Cataclysm, Lightning Bolt builds, and Ancestral Guidance are still do not work. So just keep that in mind. If you're running a Cataclysm build, it does not work with Ancestral Guidance. So we're gonna need Height and Malice and 3 other options. I was hoping they would change the other one, the one where it entangles to just, you know, something more than what it does, but looks like they didn't mess with that one. So okay, after 75 spent, you deal for containers, same everything. Ooh, your ultimate skill still. Okay, hold on. So you don't want this ring, right? This ring right here is such a cock against Ancestral Guidance, man. So after spending set amount of spirit, you deal 40% increased damage. So basically what you want to do is you want to spend your spirit and then run Cataclysm. So you want to spend your spirit, hit Cataclysm. Your ultimate skills deal 1% increased damage per spirit when cast. Does this mean that we're spirit stacking? Interesting. We might be spirit stacking, boys. That might be a spirit stacker. So if you want to boost up your ultimates, you gotta stack spirit. Okay. We'll see how that does. That's 1% per spirit. You can get your spirit up to there's like Uber now. That's interesting. Can't think of the name of it because it's been a while, but it gives you a bunch of max resource. Okay, I take back what I said about Tempest Roar, I'm sorry. Okay, interesting. There's a couple things. My brain's swimming in builds now. Keeper Glyph, increase the non-physical damage bonus from 10 to 15%. Okay, that's good. Territorial, increased damage reduction against closest enemies. Okay, a little couple 5% buffs. Undaunted, while fortified. Undaunted is probably going to be a glyph that we need to utilize now, with fortification being our main defensive option now. Werewolf Glyph, increased werewolf form damage from the 16.6. Okay, so that's just, you're going to run werewolf. More people are going to be wearing werewolf this season. And I think that's it. There's a bunch more. Let's keep going. See if we see anything else Druid related. So just there's a lot of changes. Okay, yeah, we don't care about all the other stuff. All the other stuff is whatever. Looks like some of the instances are going up a little bit. I think they're getting buffed. The general transfer ancestral items, the drop has been increased. Let's see. That's it, y'all. Restricted to, let's see if this is, I don't even see anything restricted to Druid. Yeah, casting ultimate restores resource. Okay, that's everybody. Summons and minions updates. All skills that summon entities such as necromancer minions, druid companions, sorcerer conjurations are now all tagged as summon skills for consistency across classes. Adding the summoning skill tag to druid companion skills, sorcerer companion skills, units created by these skills are now collectively referred to as summons. All damage from summons are attributed to the player's character rather than the summon unit. Updating wording on various effects using summon terminology where appropriate. Many effects still interact only with the class specific version of these summons. Okay, So let's read this developer note. This is big for summon builds. For Druid, summoning skills have behaved inconsistently across the classes, making it hard to know how to scale their damage or what effects would interact with your summons. This update aims to standardize this interaction across the board by attributing the damage they deal to the player rather than the summon unit. This means that damage from your summons will be able to trigger all of your lucky hit effects and interact with all of your damage modifiers, multipliers, and triggers. Note that effects such as Ring of Mendelin still properly increase their damage output based on the damage bonuses you have for the specific minion type that triggered the effect. Additionally, specific changes for Necromancer have been implemented to reflect these changes, which can be seen above in the relevant sections. Okay. The tooltip arena best have updated to clarify that the free cast triggered by the item do not count as if the player casts a skill, which implied other effects should also trigger in this case. Okay. Okay, so that's pretty big. That's for the summon builds. A lot of issues with Druid summon builds where it just wasn't scaling properly with our characters and the things we were adding to it. Let's see some bug fixes here. Fix an issue which prevented the one with nature damage bonus from applying to the poison creeper Druid companion's active effect. That's crazy. That's literally what it's supposed to do. Fix an issue where the nature magic wall tempering affects did not increase earthen bulwark's duration. Yeah. And fix an issue where Stone Divinity was not tradable. No one wants it. Okay, so real quick, this is a side tangent. Feel free to move on. I'll be on PTR 10 p.m. When it comes out today, Tuesday. Stone of Vehement. So this is a good idea, but again, this is like the season of the wolf. When is it going to be season of the human? Because I have not yet seen. I think they added one node after the expansion that increases human damage, and a lot of these abilities turn you into a human. There has to be way more aspects for human centric damage, because then it literally takes, there's a unique, I hate when there's something missing. And in this, there's Mad Wolf's Glee. I'm forgetting what the bear one is, but they also have Tempest Roar. They have the bear one. Where is the human uniques? Where are they? Blizzard, where are the human uniques? Still none. Where's the human chest that, enhances anything that you cast in human, does double damage or whatever? As long as you haven't been in werewolf stance or bear stance in the last 3 seconds, human casted abilities do double damage. Guess what puts you in human form? Unless if you have one of the unique chests on. Your dogs, your wolves. When you cast the wolves to attack, it changes you to human, even though it's wolves attacking, unless if you have the specific uniques on. Why isn't there anything to increase that effect when you're a human? They really have, and that's where a lot of the summon damage is missing, is that they don't have any specific uniques to increase human casted abilities. It's unacceptable. Either that and a mask, some type of Druid Sage mask, just like Tempest Roar, that reduces, does whatever. Okay, I can think of a couple, but we need that. We need that ASAP. Should already be in the game. Those two things are. It's crazy that they haven't been in the game yet. Fix an issue where Shred could dash without the Primal Shred upgrade learned. Fix an issue where Shred could have visual issues when cast with high amounts of attack speed. Okay, I think that's it. I'm not. If you want to look through these, you can. But I think that's it. All right, y'all. So we're gonna be jumping into this. Druid. These changes look good. I ain't gonna lie to you. These changes look good. If you want to see me test some of these builds out, try some of these builds out on the PTR, come check me out. Storm Shades Gaming over on Twitch, YouTube, Kick. I'm gonna be everywhere. Okay. And always follow your Druid. What do I usually say? Always follow your ninja way. Did I used to say ninja way? Always follow the Druid way when I'm talking about Druid stuff. All right, y'all. Peace, love, and chicken grease. Peace.